¿Quieres hablar español como le Messi?
Al final, ¿qué mira, bobo? ¿Qué mira?
No dije hola, ¿cómo estás? Dije, che, ¿qué tal? No dije yo, me llamo. Dije, yo, me llamo. No dije hasta luego o adiós. Dije, chao. ¿Por qué? Porque Messi viene de Argentina y habla una versión popular de español llamada Rioplatense. Bienvenidos a un nuevo episodio de Español desde Cero, donde enseñaremos español en 3 minutos o menos, una semana a la vez.
Editor said here, normally these videos are 3 minutes or less, and I know you're looking at the length of the video and you're like, this isn't 3 minutes. But yeah, for this video to get this justice it deserves, kind of had to go over the time limit quite a bit, but also stick until the end for a potentially cool update.
Firstly, Rioplatense Spanish has some influence from the indigenous languages from the original inhabitants of the area. The indigenous languages spoken were Quechua, Mapuche, and Guarani. Some of the words taken from these languages are shusho, which means weed, and laucha, which means a skinny or unathletic person, and chabon, which means a dude or a guy, which was tarabon in the original language, which means a young rea, which is a type of bird. As much as the indigenous languages had an influence on Rioplatense, arguably Italian may have had more than influence. In the early 1900s, Italians migrated to Argentina, so most Italians learned Spanish as a second or third language, which resulted in their Spanish sounding basically like Spanish with an Italian accent. And funnily enough, I discovered Rioplatense Spanish when I was watching Money Heist and I heard Palermo speaking. And for those who don't know, I have some basic understanding of Italian. Posso parlare un poco di italiano. And as I was listening, for some reason it sounded like this guy was speaking Italian, or he was speaking Spanish with an Italian accent.
Me parece a mí o percibo cierta negatividad en el ambiente, vibraciones muy bajas. Llévame con él que quiero hablarle. Y déjanos solos.
Which was so odd. I was like, what the hell is going on with this guy? And then I Googled and I found out that he was speaking Argentinian Spanish. And then when I Googled further, I was able to decipher this information that I've just shared to you now.
I want to go backhand, but so far I've got to say they were right. They were absolutely right. It does have, not only it's easier to understand, but it has a very familiar cadence to it. And sometimes the intonation, the way they seem to stress some words.
If you speak Italian, it may be a lot easier for you to understand the Rioplatense Spanish than typical Spanish. And also speaking Italian can help your Rioplatense Spanish sound a bit more accurate. I tried my best with my limited Italian experience and knowledge and my Spanish knowledge to kind of like create what Rioplatense sounded like. So most of the beginning video, I spoke in a Rioplatense Spanish accent. And before we get into the nitty-gritties of it, I'm just going to pop up a couple of words that are different from other forms of Spanish but are influenced by Italian. Okay, now let's get into the nitty-gritty. You might have noticed at the beginning of the video, I said yo instead of yo. And that's because in Rioplatense Spanish, the Y and the double L do not create a G sound as in most dialects of Spanish. Instead, it creates a sh sound. Hence, sho or shamada. And then second, whenever an S appears before a consonant, it becomes an aspirated H. Hence why I haven't been saying Español. I've been saying Español. And that's why I didn't say desde. I said desde.
And if you ever pay close attention to Messi speaking, you will always hear him say Español. You will always kind of pick up that little aspirated H. If you're paying close attention, that is.
Hola, español. No. Hola, español. Lo vemos de España.
Another difference from Castilian Spanish with Rioplatense Spanish is boseo. So instead of saying tú, they say vos. And I'll actually put up a couple examples of how it can be used. And as you can see here, it has completely different conjugations. And it's not really the same as the Castilian too. But this is not entirely unique. This is something that's actually quite common in other forms of Latin American Spanish. And fun fact, they also use mal to mean good. Yeah, kind of weird. And if you want to get more exposure to Rioplatense, I'd highly recommend watching Money Heist and original Spanish and listening to Palermo speak. Secondly, I recommend watching Atrapados or Caught on Netflix, which is a really good show. And then I'll also put up like bunch of quick ones that you can check out. These are ones that I haven't checked out, but you can go check them out. So a special thank you to Land Focus for a lot of the research that I used for this video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you guys next week for Español desde Cero. Thank you so much for watching till the end. You're a real one and it means a lot. And now, because the real ones are here, I can ask an important question. This is an idea I've had, and I've kind of thought of making it its own series, like separate from Español desde Cero. And I'm thinking of making different videos. I've already got like a whole plan lined up and everything like that. For example, how to speak like Samuel Eto'o, and then it'll be focused on Cameroonian French, and then different videos for many different dialects of French and many different dialects of Spanish, so that you guys can learn all the different types, because mainly what we focus on our channel is Castilian Spanish. So it's always nice to understand and get exposed to different types of Spanish or different types of French, for example. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we have an entire playlist here, an entire playlist that you can go and check out, an entire playlist of Español desde Cero videos that you can watch to kind of help you learn French in 3 minutes or less, 1 week at a time. But yeah, if you haven't seen them, you can catch up now. Yeah, you can catch up now. Go there. Oh, and also I'm gonna say subscribe, because then it's gonna make the little thing at the bottom kind of like shine. And then I'm gonna say like the video, because that thing is also gonna like shine in the video, well, at the bottom. And thank you so much. Cheers.